I wouldn't last in jail, Oscar. I'm not like you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, you don't know about jail? Oh, you would love jail.
Why would I love jail?
Because you would love it.
The Office is one of America's most celebrated and watched TV series. It firmly held the title of one of the most streamed shows on Netflix since December 2018, and that continued through 2019. A show that is so beloved, though, truly makes me wonder, how can a show so blatantly offensive at times dodge, like The Matrix, criticism and outrage? How did The Office escape cancel culture? Cancel culture, for those not familiar, is the group practice of not only withdrawing support from a particular person, organization, or work, but also actively letting others know your decision as well. This is important. Canceling someone or something isn't a private affair, a decision that you make with yourself with no one to know. A fundamental aspect of canceling is that it's a conspicuous event. Others have to know about it. You post about it on Twitter, Facebook, hell, you might even write an article about it. Of course, not all calls for canceling are created equal. The merit, or not, depending on your stance, of a conversation around Aziz Ansari, for example, is not the same as this tweet. But the idea remains. These conversations are being thrown into the public rather than private sphere. Why not let canceling someone just be a private affair, though? Seriously, why does the internet and the world have to know that you thought that
there's a douchebag named Cody Ko, and we are about to f his life up?
The goal of cancel culture is not only to make it impossible for that person or group to continue to propagate their problematic mentality, but also to tarnish the reputation or group described. If I can get me and 100,000 other people on the internet to get upset and maybe stop watching, buying, or engaging with the offensive person, that offensive person will have an economic and social reason to reevaluate their behaviors, practices, and mentality, and hopefully they'll stop. Of course, that's the idea. Whether or not cancel culture produces those effects is another question, and one that I'll dive into in another video. Now, back to The Office. Think about a character like Todd Packer.
Oh, come on!
What has two thumbs and likes to bone your mom?
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Yeah, Three Musketeers.
What's up, Halpert? Still queer?
Todd, okay. He's probably what a lot of people would say embodies toxic masculinity, a need to project how much sex he has, and other men, like Michael, who don't do that, are queers, or less of a man for not being as macho. Or take Oscar.
Yeah, I'm gay.
Oh, that is the fun of this place. I call everybody faggy. Why would anyone find that offensive?
Consider Gay Witch Hunt, episode 1 of season 3. Imagine starting the season of a network television show with a round of gay chicken. Beyond that, Oscar is singled out for his homosexuality in the show, being labeled as effeminate or womanly because of his sexuality.
Can you tell who's gay and who's not?
Of course.
What about Oscar?
Absolutely not.
Well, he is.
Well, he's not dressed in women's clothes, so...
You're forgetting something.
What?
This chat. 2 men, 1 white, 1 Latina. We have 3 scenes to film, big scenes. We have a song to write, so let's get cracking. Kelly, I want you to do makeup. Oscar, I would like you to do costume design, obviously. Phyllis, I'd like you to look around town.
I think it's safe to say that that kind of rhetoric, packaged in a different way, would not fly in today's climate. And even though The Office came out in 2005, it still boasts extremely strong viewership. So how are they getting away with it? That has to do with what I would call the 3 levels of comedic irony in The Office. The first level is the joke itself, what the character says. Michael, Todd, Kevin, Dwight, or whoever else says something that they think is funny. The joke is that Oscar is gay. That's it. That's the punchline. To them.
Of course, we all thought you were gay in high school.
Right.
Imagine
You were gay.
And if that were the entirety of the joke, The Office would probably find itself at the center of a lot of controversy. But that's where the second level of comedic irony comes in. When these characters say ridiculous or bigoted things, while it is embraced by some characters like Kevin or Dwight or whoever, it's rejected by the more normal, level-headed characters. Jim's look, Angela's eye roll, or Pam's uncomfortableness ends up communicating to us that even though they're okay with this, everyone else isn't. In other words, there's a layer of ironic separation from the offensive thing that was said and the rest of the cast. These reactionary characters become the vehicle for us as an audience to understand that, hey, they don't think this is cool. The third level of irony has a lot to do with the second and can only exist because of it. We, as an audience, pick up on that second level of comedic irony. We see that other characters aren't cool with the joke, which then allows us to understand that we don't have to be cool with it either, just like them. We are not necessarily meant to laugh with Michael's homophobia, although you may, but rather at how ridiculous it is. Even though, within the logic of the scene, the offensive character is making the joke, because of other characters' reactions within the scene, we know that that alone isn't the joke. In other words, the joke isn't that Oscar is gay, it's that Michael thinks it's funny to make fun of that. Here are the levels of irony in action.
The most fundamental thing about sensitivity training is that you cannot make fun of a person for something or some action that they have done that they regret. You can only make fun of things that they have control over. Like Oscar is gay. That is his choice. We can make fun of that. I did not choose to fall into a koi pond.
And if you didn't get it, Toby even explicitly says what the third level is.
Maya, you still can't make fun of people for race or gender or sexual orientation.
And this is precisely why you will never see people, or at least a lot of people, upset at The Office. As we're watching any given episode, we walk away with the subtle understanding that the writers want us to laugh at how ridiculous people like Michael, Todd, Kevin, and anyone else are being in those moments. For that reason, we end up understanding that through comedic irony, The Office is actually pretty ideologically progressive. And that isn't to say it's a show that's shoving its morals down your throat, not at all. But instead, it's taking a much more nuanced and level-headed approach to discussing complex and difficult social issues. Now, that isn't to say that everyone finds the offensive jokes on The Office funny. Even after walking through an argument like this, you may still find people that say, well, why are we even making a joke about women or gay people at all? To me, what matters is the actual content and message of the joke, and not that we're joking about something in and of itself. If you write off The Office as problematic simply because it made jokes that you have deemed unjokeable, then you haven't even let it get to its point. A point that is more on your side than you may realize. As someone who loves writing, what The Office has managed to do here is incredibly impressive. I think it's that level of craftsmanship that helps separate it from other sitcoms and mockumentaries of its day, firmly enshrining it in a class of its own. Friends, thanks so much for watching my very first video here on For the Love of Nerd, a channel dedicated to making video essays to talk about cultural issues through the lens of film, TV, video games, and art. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Joey Mullen, Marconi Correa, Mariana Rodriguez, and Maddie Schrodel, who all acted as consultants on this video. Maddie actually rewatched the entirety of The Office twice recently, which in and of itself is impressive. Let's say impressive. What did you think of my argument though? Did I miss some crucial aspect? Let's continue the conversation in the comments. I promise I will reply to you as long as you are not a doo-doo butt saying mean stuff to me, all right? I will reply though. If you want to support us, consider subscribing here on YouTube, following us on Instagram, or checking out our Patreon, where you can get access to a bunch of really cool behind-the-scenes content. You can see what that's all about with the link on the screen or in the description. While you ponder that though, let's just listen to this fire beat, bro. Like, are you hearing this? Yo, Derek, have you heard this? Bro, stop. Okay, get off TikTok. Come, bro. All right, guys, I'm out. Until next time, stay nerdy.